Jets insiders have just recently revealed contract details on one of the most polarizing free agent signings for the New York Jets, and we're going to break it all down for you guys. What's up, Jet fans? I'm Julian Locasso, joined by my co-host Nick Perry, and this is the Gang Green Report. If you're tuning in, hit that like button on your way in and subscribe if you're new so you can stay up to date on all things related to the New York Jets this offseason. So let's get into this video. Rich Cimini of the Jets Beat just recently reported the contract details of new Jets cornerback Brandon Stephens, and the contract actually looks better than most initially thought. In the total, the Jets signed the former Ravens cornerback to a 3-year, $36 million deal with $22.98 million fully guaranteed, plus a $10 million signing bonus. But when you break it all down, he's only making $1.49 million guaranteed, plus $510K roster bonus with a cap hit of only $4 million in 2025, and that jumps up to $11.49 million guaranteed, plus the roster bonus, bringing it up to a $14 million cap hit in 2026. And then essentially what ended up happening is because Moogie added 3 void years for cap purposes, this essentially turns the deal into a glorified 2-year deal worth $24 million, which ranks in about the 17th ranked cornerback contract in APY. Essentially, 2025 and 2026 have all of the guaranteed money. So that is why, even though 2027 has the same cap numbers as 2026, that's if we continue to keep him on the contract. If he outperforms himself in the first 2 years, that could be a steal of a deal in 2027, but there is no guaranteed money in that time, which makes it a little bit more of a favorable deal. That way, if he doesn't perform up to par, we can just cut him after the first 2 years, and all the guaranteed money will be gone, and then we don't really have to owe him anything going into that final contract year. Nick, what are your thoughts on the contract details now that we finally have some clarity on this new contract? Let us know.
Yeah, I think this works out pretty well for us, especially with the 3 void years, which is similar to what we did with the Fields contract as well. We gave him a couple void years. I think we gave him four void years for the Fields
I think
contract.
it's
3, okay. So it was 3 with him as well. We've been seeing that a lot with these new contracts, which is pretty interesting. I think it gives us great flexibility as well, and almost makes this like a prove-it deal for us after that 1 year. With the next year, kind of jumps up to that guaranteed money. So hopefully he balls out this year. Is exactly what we think. Exactly what we hope he will be doing for us. I think as you stated earlier, this was a big worry to most Jets fans at the beginning, kind of be like, who are we signing for what? CB2 along with Sauce. But I think just with some clarity and with Rich Cimini kind of clearing everything up, I think we can all breathe a little bit easier now. So I think that it was definitely a breath of fresh air waking up to that as a Jets fan.
Yeah, and obviously, a lot of people were worked up, like you mentioned, just with the signing, seeing as, he had a down year in 2024. I think he was 174th ranked in coverage. He let up 65 receptions and only had 5 pass breakups of those 65 receptions. But he was a starter for the Ravens the last previous 2 seasons and had a decent 2023 as a starter, where he was ranked 72nd among cornerbacks in coverage and had 2 interceptions. So, my personal train of thought is, and head coach Aaron Glenn told Stephens himself that he loves his game and he believes that he can take it to another level in New York. And this is just my growing belief with the signing, but Glenn was a former first-round pick cornerback and a damn good one. He was a cornerbacks coach and a good DC for that matter as well. And I think he can form this player and mold him into the guy that he wants him to be and use those physical tools that he has at 6'1", 215 pounds with a 4.44 speed and make him into a good, or at least a playable cornerback 2 next to Sauce Gardner. You never know. You never know what it's going to be like when we see them actually on the field. But the hope is that Aaron Glenn is able to mold this guy into the player that we want him to be next to Sauce Gardner, given that he is still young as well. Nick, give me your thoughts on Stephens as a player and the potential that he may have in this system with the Jets.
Yeah, I think he brings a lot to the table in terms of physicality and size for sure. As you stated at the cornerback position just now, we've heard all about the down year. We all know that he always is in the play, though. As we stated, I think we stated this a couple when we did our free agent signings. He's always in the play. He forced the 5th highest tight window throw rate at 33% this last season. So if we could just tighten up his game where we know, and we already know he has that physical size and mentality. Now he just needs the technique and the nuance of being a CB2 next to Sauce. And I think that's, like you said, that's where AG kind of comes in. being that cornerback himself, being a cornerback coach, also playing opposite of Sauce. I think he will thrive, as I stated. Again, we talked about it earlier. Everybody who plays on the opposite side of Sauce gets to eat every year. So overall, I'm excited to have him. I think the contract, again, gives you a kind of a breath of fresh air. Hopefully he proves all the haters and the head scratchers wrong, whoever doesn't like this signing. So I think he'll be fit in nicely with the system.
Yeah, I mean the hope is that like we said, the hope is we got a former first round, cornerback to be our head coach and somebody who's been a cornerback coach in this league for a really long time. The hope is that we can mold him and use those physical tools that he already possesses, and that's the one thing you can't teach 4.44 speed and the size that he has. You can't teach those things, but what you can teach is technique and just being in the right place at the right time and just being able to make plays. So hopefully we can just teach him up the technique stuff, and hopefully he will essentially be that guy that we know that Sauce Gardner can be, especially because Sauce Gardner is going to get a lot of attention, especially after the down year he had. He's going to come back with something to prove this year. I think he's got to kind of have a chip on his shoulder. So I think you're going to see a lot of guys not wanting to throw in his direction. So I think Brandon Stevens is going to get picked on a lot in coverage, and we're going to see potentially what could happen with this coaching staff and the opportunity that he has to potentially be that guy to step up for us. But guys, let us know below, how does the Stevens contract make you feel about the signing? Does it make you feel better or about it or the same? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Like this video and subscribe if you're new. And as always, guys, go Jets.